So, should we just start at one. Is that timekeeper? Okay, thank you. In the view of the camera. Yeah. You're the only one who can be seen. Sit down ranges, or right beside you can't be seen. Sure. I'm sure we'll be able to get this. That's if we can't understand. Hi, Lorenzo.
Hi, thank you for coming for today. It's quite a stretch.
Amanda. How have you been since Paris?
Yes, a little jet lag, but I'm coping.
Okay.
Looking forward to our discussion today.
Fantastic. I hope everyone has had their lunch. A friend of mine once told me that a well-fed belly is the key to a well-fed bank account. And I hope that today we walk away with you when the benefits both of our companies. Maybe just an aspect we've got our councils on, I guess some introductions are you. I'm David, the founder and CEO of Freehills, and today with me is Chloe, my general counsel. Amanda, was it? Right, okay. I guess can you just do a brief introduction into what we start? I'm not sure if you know, but the color of the year 2023 was green. And it's quite interesting to me that green was picked. Green symbolizes harmony with the environment, and this really harkens to the foundations and the beauty of sustainable fashion. There is an history conception that fashion, fast fashion, or fashion also cannot be sustainable, but it was my mission to create a sustainable fashion boutique that prioritizes three things. I like to call it the three P's: people, planet, but also profits. Sustainability means not only must be sustainable in the environmental sense, but also for my own sake, for my own shareholders. And this is, and sustainability and ethics is the core of my business. And being and getting into an agreement with you, seeing future business operations, this is something that I'm very keen to explore, but also I hope you understand where I'm coming from and my need to be ethical, need to be sustainable, need to protect the environment. Chloe, would you like to add?
Most certainly, David. Thanks so much for that. I really like the introduction to sustainability. It's really been permeating all aspects of our lives. In the law, in the legal perspective, we also have various agreements nowadays. We have the Paris Agreement, we have the Tuning Framework, for instance. Of course, these don't traditionally relate to fashion, but in recent days, they have really been, creeping in to fashion industry. Trade agreements now have a sustainability chapter that considers clothing, for instance, and this may extend and promote some benefits for our companies. So we are really interested in collaboration with you guys. Of course, perhaps I could propose the agenda, and then you could then.
Maybe we skip to that as introduction to Glenn, how to pronounce it. I hope I'm not butchering it.
Yes, no, you pronounced it correctly. And thank you so much for sharing those sentiments with us. As someone who's new to Glen Couture, I definitely think a new vision can be introduced and spearhead, environmental and sustainability objectives. And in saying that, we believe as well that a collaboration with one another will create significant traction in the fashion industry, given how fragmented it is, but given our unique perspective on how we can contribute to creating a greener world, I believe that can resonate with a lot of people. But before I continue, I believe I'll hand over to my general counsel to provide some opening remarks.
Thank you. We'll probably meet you guys and I have questions as well, but I'll get straight to it. So we just wanted to, I guess, create the foundations of the negotiations now from a legal perspective. So we agree that everything discussed today will remain completely confidential, and just to let you know, we have full authority to act on Raptor's behalf and to continue both myself and Lorenzo coming with faith. And I think what that means to us is that we come to a negotiation intending to be fully transparent with the intention of reaching a mutually beneficial agreement. And we also recognise, coming from a different jurisdiction, that we may have a different structure to negotiation compared to yours. So we would firstly like to express how we would usually conduct our negotiations, see if we can find some synergy. So firstly, what we prefer to do is briefly outline some interests, so for the sake of time, we get into the agenda. Then we exchange and set a clear agenda, and we'll discuss that as you were noting before. And then at each agenda point, we'll explore the interests in a little bit more detail, and I will also take minutes on what we agreed to. You'll be doing the same, and we can compare at the end. And if there's anything today you don't understand or you need clarification on, please feel free to interrupt us or tell us exactly the thing that you need understanding on. But in that sense, we'd love to learn how your negotiation style differs or similar. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We really agree with what you expressed about confidentiality, transparency. We do concept those values, and we do really also want to work out with you. Of course, first we could dive into the agenda right away.
We are unified in our mission to look fabulous and also to design things of the future.
My sentiments exactly. My general counsel and I have actually prepared a list of priorities that we hope you'll be open to exploring in that chronology if you'd like to review.
So the first one will be in terms of collaboration.
Could you elaborate on what you mean by terms of collaboration? Because from our understanding, all these are terms. Could you elaborate on what these terms relate to?
These terms will just relate to the technicalities of our relationship, exploring specifically commission rates, potential exclusivity, and value creation, as we believe that our relationship will allow us to promote some diversification in terms of our portfolio of brands.
To be clear, this is relating to the distribution agreement itself, right?
The distribution agreement and how Wardrobe Vista will operate and function through our online platforms.
And just now you mentioned two things relating to exclusivity and commission structure. Okay, we do have a few additional items there. We would like to add things like the duration or content of this distribution agreement. We also like to add things like sustainability objectives. But of course, this structure works for us, but we do have a possible alternative structure where we want to lay out all our red lines first. So after laying out these red lines, then you'll be able to see where we can be more flexible. Because if any of these red lines are breached, we kind of can't go through the agreement. And these are quite strict instructions on our part.
Clarify what you mean by red lines.
I would love to go into the details, of course, but of course.
So, meaning to say that this would be not the agenda. We are agreeable with the 4 points we'd like to outline some of our non-negotiable areas so that we can be clear and be transparent and echo your response to that.
So the red lines onboarding are preliminary to agenda point 1.
Of course.
Yes, definitely. We can be amenable to that.
And what is your interpretation of red lines? So
essentially, issues that if breached, we cannot agree with the deal. These are quite strict mandates, and we do want them to be voiced out so that you can understand where we're facilitating.
so in that regard, I'm interpreting
looking at as positions that you guys are holding and things that if they are breaching under to into the negotiations?
Well, it's like, I won't call it positions, but there are other bottom lines. I mean, we come with different interests, we come with different bottom lines. This is our bottom line. And if you go below that, then it's difficult for us to bring this back to my board and convince them. And it's really a difficult sell. So that's why we want to put it out clearly, and then we can know where our bottom lines are, and then we work in between those indicated areas. How about that?
Yes, that's completely understandable and fair.
So I think there are 2 points we would like to raise. The first one is that if we were to be onboarded as a party to the distribution network, we would require some aspirational objectives to be reflected in your contracts. I think like Chloe, would you like to explain that?
Sure. So how we foresee this aspirational objective working out is that it will be incorporated into the preamble or the recited contract. It will be for the purpose of reducing reliance on unsustainable grants gradually over 10 years. Of course, the precise details can be further negotiated and worked out, but that's how we foresee this aspirational objective.
So this is the first aspect. The second aspect, this deals with packaging. You know how fashion, I mean for clothes at least, you always package them in plastics, package them in cardboard, and send them everywhere. So we would like, if we were to sell products in your platform, for our products at least, to be packaged in 100% recyclables immediately. And as for other products, because I'm sure you also distribute and sell brands and products of other brands, we are flexible as to the timelines in which we transition from non-recyclable materials to 100% recyclable. We're taking a very holistic view to fashion. Not only are we sourcing and manufacturing our clothing in a sustainable manner, but also supply chains, which is extremely important for us, must be sustainable as well, or feature some sustainability aspects. So these are our 2 bottom lines when it comes to us even to consider coming on board as a potential distribution.
Thank you so much for sharing the details with us. I just had a follow-up question on one of your points, was that for sustainability issues, what are your goals?
My goals? I mean, I've indicated the 3 Ps, 3 cardinal principles: people, planet, profit. And it may sound very abstract, but I think to concretize these ideas, maybe you could look into the UN SDG goals. They are widely accepted by the international community, gold standards, sustainability, not only taking into account but also intra-generational justice. And to us, this really resonates with what sustainable fashion ought to be, taking care of the needs of the present, but not compromising the needs of the future.
Of course, we recognize that this will be onerous on you guys, so we do have some points that we can propose to make it more acceptable. So we would like to say that the aspirational objective, this is not binding per se. Once again, it is mentioned in the preamble or reciters, but we want it worded and underlined, and we want this to be able to shape the interpretation of the document, however long it may be. So it will be used for interpretation of the contract itself. For the commitment to rely on sustainable packaging or recyclable packaging, we also know this will be quite a change in your current history of structure of this business. And so what we propose is that for our own products, for the business products, we want an immediate use of recyclable packaging. But for other products, we are willing to consider a more extended time frame for that.
Just wondering whether this is agreeable to you or whether you can commit to this.
I just had a further question, and thank you so much for explaining. I think it's much appreciated. I believe what my client was trying to say was, what are the specific, goals or aspirations in that regard? Perhaps I know commonly in these agreements relating to using recyclables and whatnot, that there are, for example, the goals of the company are becoming having 10% of its products recyclable in 2025, or by 2030, 40% of all clothing is recyclable. Are there any percentages or quantifiable aspirations in that regard? Yes.
You can separate this into 2 broad rounds, one relating to packaging and one relating to your, larger corporate matters. I mean, this is meant to be aspirational. So ideally, we like, in the UN SDG goals, someone incorporated into the business strategy. Down the line, we're also looking at things like carbon emissions disclosure, S1, S2, these are quite industry standard, direct and purchase emissions. Maybe we can even talk about GRR, global disclosures for stakeholders, sustainability disclosure, not just focusing on shareholders.
And to quickly on what David said, the aspirational objective is only for the first clause, for the clauses relating to the recyclable packaging. Those are not aspirational, those are binding commitments.
So for specific percentages, if we were to sell products on your platform, we would require 100%. We will require the use of recyclables for all of our products immediately, so 100%. But if for other products, if you're going to sell clothing from H&M or Ace or Ensure, we will be open to extending this timeline to allow the transition.
And I guess this would benefit you as well because if you adopt ESG standards, then I'm sure that you being a multinational company, you might be listed or considering listing. All these ESG requirements, comply to them, and will help you with your disclosure requirements, if you're what to share with us. I think it's something that you can consider from a legal.
That's a really commercial point. That's the reason why I hired him.
So thank you so much for elaborating on my general opinion. I'd first like to say that I intend fully to elaborate further on specifically sustainability objectives and packaging under Agenda Point 2. But just because I recognise this is very important to you as a business and in terms of your values, I'm amenable to first exploring Agenda Point 2 before we elaborate on Agenda Point 1, if that's something that's appealing to you.
Which is our bottom line.
Yes, all right, wonderful. So yes, I'll continue now with that point. So it is our intention to transition to more sustainable packaging. So full transparency, we are in the process of creating our own sustainable packaging. Specifically, it is a type of recyclable black packaging, the details of which aren't immediately available to me, but I do know our goals in terms of how we intend to implement this new component of our production line operations. So we intend to implement this so long as it does not exceed a certain percentage in terms of our bottom line as well. So as long as we can implement this new type of packaging, we will be able to completely all of our packaging for all brands within the confines of the company. However, just because it is within its early stages, we do not have a complete picture on the timeline on that. But for something that we do have a timeline on is specifically our objectives in terms of who we bring on to our website, and in saying that the percentage or quantity of ethical brands that we would like to invite. So we are aiming to introduce a 10% by 2025 goal, meaning that at least 10% of our brands that we sell on our platform need to be ethically and ESG aligned. And we also intend to grow that percentage within the next 5 years. However, that percentage is still uncertain. How does everything I have spoken about so far sound?
It sounds quite promising, though I have a few questions to ask.
Yes.
You mentioned that we keep on board 10% of sustainable fashion. I'm wondering, what do you mean by sustainable? I mean, who's going to ascertain or who's going to credit them being sustainable? And sustainable in what sense?
That's to elaborate. I think we are curious about rationale as well, apart from just the definition of sustainability. Why do you propose such numbers if ethical business can actually promote your own business?
Yes, I completely understand that question. So, as I am quite new to Glam Couture, I also have to bring a new vision to.
Sorry, teams. Can I just encourage you in particular, just slightly increase the volume of the discussion?
A bit more louder.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, so I'll continue. So the rationale behind the 10% figure is because we need some time to completely transition, just because it is quite a different direction for Glam Couture. As you can imagine, again, trying to screen each brand that we bring on board takes time. So by 2025, so within the next 2 years, will give us ample time to implement processes and policies that will allow us to accurately gauge whether a brand is ESG aligned or ethically oriented in that sense. And we again will have discussions similar to how we're having discussions with you about values and gauge whether those values accurately are demonstrated through their product offerings, so to speak.
I guess my concern is what standards are you going to use to assess whether these brands are ESG? Maybe like, are you going to align the standards to what we apply? Um, carbon emission disclosures or stakeholder-centric disclosures.
I believe I'll leave that.
Yeah, so the legal team and I have been looking over such things as the UNSDG and the Commission reports in regards to operate. It's part of the business generally a strategy to propose Commission to unveil that information to the Commission in regards to environment. But one of the things we were considering working with policy in that regard is we're slowly building it up. I think because as you understand from an initial legal perspective, we are just now partnering with wanting to partner with a sustainable brand. And so we will actually require influencers so coming on board with us in that regard helps. And then we plan to align with those policies that we propose.
And just to elaborate, you will set the benchmark, so to speak, moving forward. And my add, you have set quite a good benchmark which we will try to compare when looking at future brands to invite to our platform.
Sure, I think this is quite just to satisfy or be an easy sell to our board, right?
I just need to crystallize the commitment that you want from us in greater detail. So you mentioned 10% of brands have to be ethical. Brand packaging, I presume.
Brand packaging is something we will take care of. So in the process of receiving those goods through logistical means, we will then take, the intent, the plan is to take those products and then place them within the sustainable packaging that we are currently developing.
Is that 10% something that wouldn't work for your board, or would you look for something more?
I guess 10% is quite low. It sounds like we do have a drastic difference in perhaps for growth person. I think we proposed earlier 100%, and now they are trying to say 10%.
But to be clear, this 10% for brands, the brands that you're involved in, whereas packaging is just 100% one is just a big issue for us. That hasn't been addressed yet, right?
Packaging, in terms of quantifying a percentage, we would say that because it's still within the early stages of development, we still need to understand the bottom line associated with developing or fully realizing that packaging. But once we have, it will be 100% implemented, and all products that we receive will be housed, so to speak, within that packaging.
Yes, is there a reason why it's 10% still? Because maybe we will be able to help with and find some creative solutions.
Definitely, and just to reiterate, the 10% is specifically brands, but the products that we receive will be 100% packaged with sustainable materials, or made up of sustainable materials.
So thanks for the clarification. I think the fact that you have 10% goal for brands is quite aligned with our aspirational objective requirement. And as for the packaging requirement, so we are seeking like the moment that we sell products on your platform, we expect our products to be stored, housed, and packaged in sustainable material. So if correct me if I'm wrong, but if your packaging doesn't work out, this necessarily means that we would be quite hesitant to sell products on your platforms. Is our understanding, I guess, aligned on this?
Well, I just provide some reassurance. The packaging is actually quite important because it will help drive ethical brands to come on board to our platform. So it is a priority, and it is we are adopting it as company policy.
Okay, and I take it that you have an in-principle agreement or at least an assurance that if we were to sell our products on your platform, they would be packaged in 100% recyclables.
Based on our, because ours is quite unique, so it may, in a sense, differ in terms of what you can usually expect, but it is made of sustainable ingredients and materials.
I'm just curious about it. Do you understand what they mean by when they say that the brand packaging itself must be ethical as compared to the packaging of the products?
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you say brand, I assume that the brand itself must be sustainable. And all brands under your platform, like 10% of brands will be sustainable, be accredited by 2025. So that's the branding aspect. And as for the packaging aspect, 100% for our products the moment we sell, and then over time, I suppose that other products will also be packaged in 100% recyclable materials as well.
Specifically, just to clarify again, just because of how complex this new product, so to speak, is or component is, it's packaging from non-recyclable to recyclable materials. So it would be an amalgamation blend, so to speak. So we're trying, in a sense, to draw as much material as we can, in that sense, to drive this new housing unit.
Could you elaborate on what you mean by blend? I heard that word, but I'm not sure what you're blending here.
Just a moment, pardon me. So, according to our study, Glenn Couture has been working on manufacturing its own cost-efficient recyclable packaging. So, just to correct myself, just because the details on my transcript here from my manufacturing team. So, yes, it is recyclable. I want to correct myself, not from non-recyclable to recyclable. It is completely recyclable. But we are trying to find a cost-efficient way of committing to that.
So, meaning to say that if your bottom lines are adversely affected, then this packaging would be off the table, or
No, because I wouldn't describe it that way. We would be open to suggestions from brands like yourself, but how we're hesitant to make it public yet, just because we're still trying to meet the right percentage in terms of our bottom line. But the goal is to not exceed more than 2% in our production costs.
and I think this is a firm commitment by your company that this is something that you will be pursuing.
And just to provide more transparency, we do not want to commit to recyclable materials until it is certain that the increased production costs will not exceed 2%. I hope that clarifies your concern. And I apologize if it took a bit of time to get to that.
No worries. I think that's clarified quite a bit. We understand the overall framework, but I can try and summarize it and correct me if I'm wrong. So first off, we are agreeable generally to the three components we propose, the three red lines. First, it will be an aspirational objective to reduce reliance on unsustainable brands over a 10-year period. Of course, you mentioned that you wanted to make sure it doesn't exceed 2% of production costs. We carry out that and we take that back to the board to consider. We do want the two commitments in relation to water-resistant products and other products, and we want 100% recyclable packaging. And so, if there is what we can bring back to our board and discuss further, that will be great for us.
So, if that's an accurate summary, I guess we can move on to the distribution agreement.
Yes,
I like one more perhaps creative solution. You could bring back to what I'd love to hear about to say about me and the lead team have been looking at. But one of the things we wanted to see, one of the things that we wanted, I think, as part of the sustainability initiatives is, yes, we're on board with following the policies as you guys mentioned. And I think one of the big things for us is being seen as someone who is investing in that industry. But now have a very switch to conventional movement. So we propose perhaps a collaboration of some form that we can perhaps look at in the future, where Woodruff perhaps in that regard helps us with perhaps research and developing and sourcing sustainable packaging, given that we're quite infants to this industry, you could say. And we could probably look at both brands sharing research and potentially splitting costs and pushing, I guess, moving on, I think one of the issues we'll probably get to is pushing these initiatives to consumers to highlight our mutual commitment to sustainability. And I think that would provide a positive public relations boost for Glenn Couture and also strengthen what it is as ethical stance. How does that sound?
That sounds like a fantastic collaboration we could have. Perhaps you want to elaborate on how you foresee this collaboration crystallizing, how it takes place, what commitments you want of us.
Yes, we can definitely get into that. I guess that is actually very relevant to terms of that collaboration. If you're happy for me to begin that,
Please.
yes, definitely. So with our collaboration, we're seeking to sell other brands, of course, as we previously mentioned, diversify our offerings and generate revenue through commissions. And the starting commission rate that we would expect from suppliers such as yourself is 10%. And the goal here is so we, as a probation, it is technically a probation, so it has we have the leniency in the future for that to slowly lower that commission fee, but it's just so as we start in our relationship, you want to first gauge the performance, so to speak, of Water Visa when they, if we eventually come to an agreement that you'll come on board.
That sounds very high. 10% is definitely a stretch. What do you think about that?
I think that if you compare to our current distributors, there will be quite a big gap between two competing distributors. So this is quite new to us, and we haven't done distribution networks before. Can you just check what is the market rate for I guess your commissions?
Yes, so this is technically double the market average, and the reason why we have set it to that premium is just because of how large our customer base is. So while 10% might sound a bit of an intimidating figure, you will be generously compensated by accessing such a large volume when it comes to users on our platform.
From a risk point of view, just in terms of compliance, we saw it as a need to mitigate the risk of a new brand potentially not selling as well as expected. Not to say that we don't trust in Water Vista, but it's just one of those, as you know, general counsel would probably be very aware of just compliance risks and whatnot, general standards. But we have complete faith in Water Vista, but it's just one of the reasons, justifications for that 15%, yes.
I was wondering if this 10% commission is it like a red line for you as a to borrow another parlance? Is this something negotiable?
10% is what most new suppliers start out with when we begin a relationship. But I believe
So we assume that that was something that would probably be definitely a negotiable point. And I think one of the reasons we're happy to negotiate on this point apart from it, given I think a lot of the agreement points on our end, I think some of our goals are met as well. But one of the proposals, if perhaps to meet in the middle for a solution, is perhaps instead of a flat 10% commission, perhaps we can look at a sliding scale based on sales volume. So, for example, 10,000 units, 9% commission, between 10,000 and 50,000 units, 8% commission, and then 50,000 units, 7% commission as an example. And this, we feel like, would probably encourage the use of your efforts into our.
I feel about the proposal, just the reverse of that.
Okay.
From start from a figure of 1% for the first 10,000 units, and then the more units are sold, the higher the commission goes. I mean, this would, I guess, this would meet our needs. I mean, the journey for, I guess, commissions and also our needs for, I guess, not paying excessively for commissions. I'm wondering if you're open to this.
Just one of our, again, going back to one of our purposes is to mitigate our risk associated with new brands that come onto the platform. And I'll pass it on to my joint venture to say more about this.
It seems like you're treating our brand as a potential liability.
Oh no, not at all. It's just this is just usual protocol when it comes to any kind of commercial arrangement, new commercial arrangement amongst retailers such as us within the fashion sector. Mitigating risk is a bit of a formality, but I would say that we are definitely open to exceptions when it comes to this point. 1% full transparency would be significantly low.
Okay.
However, I am open to lowering our 10% to possibly 7% commission fee, if that is something you're amenable to.
I think from a legal perspective, that's how to mitigate it. we think that it's quite strange that you find that our products will generate a lot of risk. We think that actually ESG products are quite future proof, if that's the term they use. These products usually don't have as much risk as other products. We're not sure why you are so hesitant about using our brand. You'll be willing to offer. But I guess you did decrease your commission rate. It's going to be difficult.
Perhaps we're finding a bit of conflict on this point, and again, in no way, shape, or form are we proposing that whether this would be a valuable brand, because it would. Maybe it's best to table this or move on to another point, perhaps an agreeable point, and see where we can find that value. And in that regard, as my client has proposed, we're quite flexible on that agreement. Perhaps we can come back to it after we perhaps achieve more agreeable goals. As a cemented wardrobe is value, and I'll pass back to my client.
But just before we move, I'd just like to provide some more details to the arrangement that we would have under our terms of collaboration. I intended to have an initial term of our relationship for 5 years, but since the percentage is quite important to you, so I'm open to amending that percentage, possibly lowering it to 5% after the first 2 years. Is that something that would make a difference to your stakeholder?
Talking about terms, I guess I'll leave this to
Well, first, I would like to mention that we do have some confidential information relating to other competitors with you. They have offered us quite low commission rates, and I'm not sure that I can disclose the precise amount, but what I would say is that this is quite a drastic difference. We hear your points on this, and we are willing to discuss it.
Yeah, so I mean, this 5% figure was quite I guess a bit jump for us. I mean, we're not inflexible on this, but if you can consider lowering, maybe you can consider other terms in conjunction. It's a give and take after all.
Yes, I definitely understand your position on that point. But as my general counsel said, we can table this and come back to it possibly after we have agreed on another agenda point. But I would also like to say that coming to us, you will have access not only to our customer base, but our team, who are very effective, and we will actually get to that point at number 3. But our team are very effective at selling and promoting different brands across the platform. So they will most definitely drive the sales of your products.
I understand the reach and the value that you bring. Just going to harken back to the term that you proposed, which is a 5-year term. I think that was beyond what we were expecting. I think we were, Chloe, correct me if I'm wrong, we were expecting about, I guess, 1.5 years is a good age. Amanda talked about this. And of course, we also like to mitigate our risk as well. Committing to a long-term distribution agreement, I guess the legal risk perspective is quite something to
First, we could have the option to renew. Then we could have a shorter term, but of course we have the option to renew, and we sort of adjust the option based on what we think could be discussed better.
Yeah, and on that, that was one of, I think, when we were about to reach setting performance targets, I wanted to attach that option to renew with agreed upon performance metrics when it comes to wardrobe-based stuff. And I think that is one of our main interests in that regard, but I feel like we've jumped to general points. I'll pass back to my client.
maybe perhaps consider this. I think what Chloe mentioned is a 2-year term that we can option to renew. Is this something that you can consider?
Yes, we can definitely consider. And the 5-year term is to communicate how confident we are in our relationship and growing that relationship over the years. It was more so to be an incentive rather than something to dissuade.
But one of the key issues here, and I guess this is more from a legal perspective, is we would like to say the work going to another negotiation is the longevity of the period of time. But we are open to the 2-year, we will say 2-year deal with the option to renew. We'll attach it to some performance targets if that's something we wish to at that point. But a key thing for the team and for the company is that if we are to have to 2 years, then the agreement be an exclusive agreement with Herbert to work. Is that something we'd be amenable to?
We're not completely sure based on the mandate, right?
Yeah, we're not entirely close to it, but I think I'm not sure whether you're aware, but we are also in distribution agreement with Eco Clothing. It's a company that we have worked with since the start, quite aligned with our ESG goals as well. And, I mean, you bring immense value to the table, but also I hope you appreciate that we have a long-standing relationship with them. Is this exclusivity requirement a deal breaker for you to consider us doing both eco clothing and you at the same time?
As in eco clothing with other distributing eco clothing with other retailers.
As in,
To be clear, Wardrobe will be able to seek a few distributors, one of which will be Blend and the other will be Equal Clothing, for instance. Of course, I know you may have concerns about exclusivity, but we do think that non-exclusivity has a benefit to you as well commercially. Because of course, if our own brands get advertised on more platforms, it will be better for our brand. You will earn more commission, and therefore it's quite commercial.
yeah, it's like a network.
One of the things that was exciting when coming to this negotiation was the possibility of working with. We know that you have a designer on your team named Hiro Hanada. We were hoping that facilitating this exclusive arrangement would allow us to work closely with Hiro Hanada and allow us to promote his designs and products through and allow our team to promote and drive the popularity of his range. Is that something that could possibly incentivize you to?
I believe we're jumping the gun a bit on the exclusivity portion, but I guess I'll leave Hiro Nada's legal relationship with us to my general counsel, Chloe, to address this. But I mean, so I just want to harken back to the non-exclusivity. We are not inflexible on this, but yes, non-exclusivity is something that you cannot consider.
Non-exclusivity is something we were not expecting coming to the negotiation. Just a question about your relationship with Eco Clothing. It is our understanding that you are experiencing some underwhelming results from your experience through their platform. Do you have any details that you can share with me on your relationship with Eco Clothing and why they are an important party that you want to continue a relationship with?
I mean, for one, Eco Clothing has been with us since the start. We've used their platforms for distribution, and I mean, there's the word eco in their name, so they are quite aligned with our ESG goals. So it's really a safe bet for us to stick with them. I mean, we're not inflexible. We can definitely consider the exclusivity, but I guess we somewhat expect a sweetener, maybe a reduction in commission rates if we were to sign exclusivity with you. I mean, in that case, you would just be the ones, I guess, reaping the rewards of our brand and the goodwill of our brand.
Yes, we understand. And again, the commission, we will have to table for now. But I'm open to reducing the 7 from 6% if that incentivizes your team. But we just wanted to also mention that compared to Eco Clothing, we have a very advanced platform and something that is very intuitive and responsive and something that our customers love using. The user experience is quite, we receive quite positive feedback comparatively. Our only reason I bring that is comparatively to Eco Clothing. And that is why we want to drive this exclusivity, is so we can offer you a home where it is reliable. Not to say clothing is not reliable, somewhere you can feel confident that your products will be promoted and communicated to the public in the most effective way.
I think we do have to go back to our homework on this. I'm sure David will have to see his advice on his financial analyst and see where it goes and crunching some numbers. I don't think we can commit definitively to any percentage in exclusivity as of yet. But we definitely hear what you have mentioned.
We see immense value in this potential exclusivity arrangement. But I need to sell this to my board. So if you just give me like a bit more reduction in commission, it will make my life a lot easier. I guess maybe you're looking at maybe 4.5%. Would that be okay?
I think 6% would be commercially appropriate given we need to observe wardrobe research just as a formality over the term, just to see how our customers react, and we need to introduce them to you. And as a starting, of course, I've reduced it from 10% to now 6%. I feel that we have made a considerable concession on that part, and I hope you can see the value that we can offer.
Perhaps we can park the commissions to one side and okay, so let's assume that we proceed on this exclusivity arrangement. Then I just want to understand when we do list our products on your platform, who do we get control over how the product is to be marketed?
You have control over the images, I'd say, over the images that are supplied for the product listing. In terms of how they other ways that they are advertised, we do have brand ambassadors that we can elaborate on further at agenda point 3. And those brand ambassadors distribute referral codes that drive sales. So if during a particular season where we are promoting, having a particular focus on ethically oriented brands, our brand ambassadors will take those brands on board and promote them.
Is in terms of just clauses or online distribution agreement, is it of interest to you to have a controlling mechanism or some sort of oversight over the products or that you will send towards to be sold?
Perhaps we do want some form of control, but if we give up control, then we have to with that.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess I think our concern here is at least that if we were to list the products and marketing efforts are presumably taken by the distributors, we are very concerned as to how our products are marketed. Maybe they'll be associated with, I guess, associated with fossil fuels, Wellington consumption of meat, unsustainable images that we would like to distance ourselves from. So I guess where we're coming from is that we want some, I guess, assurances that when you do your marketing efforts, you'll be compliant and consistent with ESG goals.
Yeah, I believe brand reputation costs are definitely becoming more common in such agreements. We do want some of representations that you will try your best, and if there's any damages you want to be shared, of course, besides mechanism of the sharing could be discussed further.
I guess I think the brand maintenance clause where we set out a white list of things that you can be associated with, black list of things that you cannot be associated with, but we leave majority discretion to you. This is something we will consider.
Most definitely. As the new CEO, I want to foster a closer working relationship with brands such as yourself, especially ESG aligned. So we are definitely open to suggestions on how to better market your products in particular. Every brand has their own style and values that they like to impart on their customers.
So I think this will be quite easy to justify for our board later.
In relation to the brand, IS brand cost,
Yeah, so I heard just now about Hero Hanada that you wanted some closer collaboration with. Perhaps you just share some more details with that.
Yes, I'm looking forward to hearing that.
actually, perhaps I could summarize the discussion.
Oh yeah, please do.
Just so that we are really clear about what to bring back. So from what I'm hearing about the distribution agreement terms, first we have the commission structure. I think you propose 10%, but you decrease it to 7% for a vanilla distribution commission structure. Of course, if it's exclusive, you're willing to lower it further to 6%. And then from our side, we propose 3% first as a vanilla kind of option, but we are willing to increase it to, for instance, 4.5% without exclusivity. For the term length, we discussed where we seem to be comfortable with 2 years with the option to renew. Of course, the terms of the option will be further discussed. And exclusivity, once again, that's possible. It depends on the commission structure, and we have to discuss from there.
Just to clarify, so with the 2-year option, I was very much interested to tie that to performance targets. That's what we wanted to read in order to just, I guess, monitor how our brands are going on the platform.
Perhaps if we elaborate on what performance targets are talking about, does it require any form of action on our part?
These are mostly general, such as sales, product listing visits by our users, and the interest gauged from promoting those products by our ambassadors. So those are the kind of general metrics that we'll be observing. So, for example, with our brand ambassadors, they will mostly be communicating to their followers via their social media. So we would also observe the likes and comments or reactions to those posts. It's very general metrics to start off with.
Then we could definitely consider, but of course, it seems that we are paying relatively high commission, and at the same time, even this is contingent on performance targets. We need to really discuss it and crunch numbers for this. Perhaps we could further discuss
The
this.
table this and then we'll discuss other developments. Yes. So I guess bringing back to the hero model, I just want to understand exactly what you're looking at or what you're looking for, and maybe yeah.
Oh, just simply assurance that you'll be involved in the product range that you'll be offering for us to distribute and sell to our customers. I quite admire his design and his taste, so I'm looking forward to having his products on the platform and advertising them and naturally promoting them for our brand ambassadors.
That's yes.
Got it. So our current relationship with this hero, Canada, the contract with him has ended. But of course, we are looking to pursue him really. We are trying to offer him higher rates for, to continue this exclusive designer agreement with us. And so we do have some struggles on that. We are not sure for certain whether we can secure his obligation to remain exclusive to us, even if he does stay with us as a designer. But of course, we're trying our best for it.
Is there any reason perhaps that is just because the contract was terminated or what it was? I guess I'm trying to explain what's the context behind him deciding to leave.
It's actually an expiration of his contract. Of course, he wanted higher fees, or at least that was a factor influencing his decision. Of course, we're not sure whether we can do much on it, but of course, if we have a lower commission structure, maybe we could definitely hire him properly.
Yes, so that's why we were pushing for lower structure. We could, because the hero another is someone who has a long-standing relationship with us, water business. So we will be best placed to manage his expectations, to drive his brand forward, to really set up the artistic vision. And when we bring him on board with your platform at least, it will bring immense value. Not only do you get well-star design, but you're also getting uh, all-star designs which are sustainability. So that's where we're coming at, and we hope that because of, I hope you understand the increased fee structures. Maybe first we work out a fee sharing structure.
We do have one more thing that we could discuss that perhaps help, finance some of these designer agreements or offset some of these commission structure worries. I believe it's relating to the role
Yeah, I'm
article.
not too sure whether you have read Rogue magazine or Rouge magazine. I think that, and I also heard something earlier in the conversation about how reputation and brand image is extremely important to you. So what we could do is, I'm going to be featured in Rogue magazine's 3-page editorial. This would, if we could iron out a deal by then, it would be the best platform for us to launch our distributor relationship together. And then this would bode well for our future collaboration. But of course, this also necessarily means that we would expect some help with the hero and another situation.
Oh yes, definitely. Hero and I was a particular driver of why we were attracted to working with you. So it is full transparency disappointing that Hero and I, unfortunately, his contract is expired. But I believe we can adapt here and work out a solution. So what I would recommend first, I would encourage for your team to possibly reach out to Hero and I and communicate to him that you have had ongoing discussions, possibly make him understand the opportunity that has come forward to your team in working closely with us and in term of our arrangement and our close working relationship. And another concession that I'm open to making is possibly reducing the commission fee exclusively for Hero Hanada's product range. I understand that, and you correct me if this is inaccurate, but 10% of your range is inspired by Hero Hanada's work.
The specifics is a bit difficult for me to give you a number. It's really instrumental in our brand and design. So go back to the fee sharing structure. If we reduce the commissions, and so you'll be somewhat offsetting the increase in designer fees. I mean, this would
Just to clarify, only specifically for Hero Hanada's product range, not holistically. Holistically can be 6%, and I'm happy to reduce the commission fee to 4.5%, just for Hero Hanada's product range. Is that something that can be an incentive to bring back to Hero Hanada?
First, could you mention again why Hero Hanada matters so much to you? Because we have great alternatives.
As you stated, he's very popular, and his designs and his works have attracted a lot of popularity. So we were hoping that our working relationship would drive a lot of attention over to our platform, and possibly even drive our sales for the financial year in that sense. As Hero Hanada, as you put it, very esteemed within the fashion world.
I mean, this is something that we can consider, but I want to tie it to also another issue that I've heard that Jenny B, she had some unsavory remarks made on social media. So I was wondering if, what's your contract like with Jenny B? How is she as an influencer linked to the business?
Yes, and I believe if we're going to discuss this, we might as well move to agenda point 3, our brand ambassador contracts. And just for transparency, it's my position to keep Jenny B employed at Glam Couture, as she's instrumental to driving our sales. We consider her to be a fashion icon. Her referral codes generate much revenue for Glam Couture. So just that is our position. Is it an issue for your team by any chance if Jenny B is retained or continues to work at Glam Couture?
I think David has some rumors, right? That that there's some issues regarding posts on social media, and this is relatively problematic for them.
Yeah. So I mean, like, what she posted wasn't very, I guess, very consistent with our ESG image. So I was wondering if Jenny B's involvement in Glam Couture is a inevitability, or are you flexible on this?
It is an inevitability, but I can provide assurance that I am quite close with Jenny B, as is the rest of the team at Glam Couture, and we'd just like to first say that no ill intention that we understand has come from Jenny B in her remarks. She is just a very passionate person about when it comes to fashion. So we, of course, I'm sure my general counsel can elaborate. We're open to solutions where we can provide some criteria that Jenny B can follow in the future, so as not to offend other brands and ethically oriented brands. Again, as the new CEO, I'm bringing new values to Glam Couture. So it is important that Jenny B also embraces those values.
So obviously we see something like public relations campaign strategy. I think stating my point earlier in terms of promotional versus sustainability issues, having that sort of collaboration between the two companies in order to, in a sense, create value in both parties in that regard. And we were open to any suggestions in regards to, or what would you, I guess, some solutions with if Jenny B were to stay on. Is there anything that
We do have some
yeah.
So we're not close to anything on. We do value some of the brand ambassadors, and of course, her conduct has been displeasing in the few last periods, and we do have some proposals on the legal mechanisms. So we'll take this into consideration for the brand reputation or maintenance costs that we proposed earlier. We'll see whether we can discuss that again next month. You mentioned obligations for Jenny B. We don't mind this obligation as well, but we want to make sure that we are privy to that contract with Jenny B so we can enforce if there's any damages caused by Jenny B's conduct. And of course, we want to iron out the obligations for her in specific details subsequently. Perhaps we definitely don't want a repeat of this incident where, she posted this thing about, leather.
Reputational fallout is extremely important to know. So giving us transparency and oversight over Jenny B's conduct will be extremely a good tool for us to manage this risk. I mean, I was under the impression that you would have asked me to be part of your brand ambassador as well, but I guess we can take this for another day.
And just to provide some assurance about Jenny B, we can definitely provide her some guidelines it isn't in our interest for JEB to bring down other brands, especially new brands, and like Wardrobe Vista, as we are invested in growing our relationship. So JEB understands.
So I see that, I guess time is almost running out. Perhaps we could just summarize what we discussed thus far, and then so we have adequate homework points, clear enough homework points for us to do it. So I guess those.
Sure, Scott, then you can continue.
Alright.
Okay, so for in relation to Hero Hanada's incident, I guess we would make sure that we try our best to get him on board. Of course, we value him as a designer as well. If he's so instrumental to our own success, we would definitely reach out to him and we would try and consider the reduction of the commission structure for Hero Hanada's particular distribution agreement. In relation to the Jenny B, we would like some concrete legal obligations, whether in contract or in the brand reputation of itself. And for this, we are okay with guidelines, but they are only supplementary to what we really need to protect our interests. Would you like to add anything?
In that regard, if you could please take it back to your words, possibly in understanding that, I think one of the things we worry with us is it is quite extreme legal perspective to have privy to a contract with a brand ambassador that is part of another sort of entity. She has her own agent, for example. So we'll really have to take that back and just iron out the red lines and do that. But also, if you push back to your board, the sustainability initiatives, perhaps having a PR, a way in which we could have a PR campaign, we could potentially use GMB as a way to improve woodworkers, improve the value of woodworkers, and perhaps help transition Jenny into a more environmentally friendly clothing wearer. So, yeah,
That's a mouthful.
yeah. So that's what I have to add to that.
Anything?
Well then, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Nicholas.
Their charity is to